Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be talking on biotechnology under the title of Scope of Microbiology. You remember last time we have learned about fermentation technology under the title of Scope and Applications of Microbiology. So, biotechnology is a very broad term, application of technology to living organisms or any technique in which living organisms are used for the production of useful products or a desirable chemical change. It is called as biotechnology. In simple words, if you look at the definition, application of technology, that means application of methods, application of different techniques, methodologies, and these techniques are applied to the living organisms. Living organisms include animals, plants, bacteria, viruses, that means macroorganisms as well as microorganisms. So, in relation to that, application of technology to these organisms, living organisms, that means this technique is responsible for the modification in the living organisms, okay, or any technique in which living organisms are used. Living organisms are used means whatever we have studied in fermentation technology, that bacteria are used for the production of fermentation products. So that is also a part of biotechnology. Okay, so used for production of useful products or a desirable chemical change. So this is what we have learned in fermentation technology. So this means that fermentation technology, it is a branch of biotechnology. Biotechnology is a very broad term, and fermentation technology is a part of biotechnology. Particularly fermentation technology, we deal with only microorganisms, whereas biotechnology word includes use or modification of animals as well as modification of plants. So that is the definition of biotechnology. So, as I said, industrial fermentations are described under biotechnology. This includes industrial applications of biological systems or processes, as we have learned in the last topic. It is identified as industrial application of genetic engineering technology. So, as you see in the first definition, that application of technology. Now, there is an example of technology. The example of technology is genetic engineering technology. So this genetic engineering technology is also called as recombinant DNA technology. So application of this technology to living organisms. That means microorganisms, plants, animals, they are modified by using this technology, that is genetic engineering technology, and these organisms are modified in order to produce the desirable metabolites, means whatever the metabolites that we want, whatever the change that we want, so that change is obtained through the application of this genetic engineering technology to living organisms. We'll see the examples of that in next few slides. So recombinant DNA technology refers to construction of some new combinations of DNA in vitro. In vitro means in laboratory. Recombinant, recombination means there are sets of DNA in every organism. So we take one DNA from one organism and we transfer that DNA into another organism. So there will be formation of a new combination of genes, new combination of DNA. That is why this technique is called as recombination of what? Recombination of DNA. So this process is done. Recombination is possible in animal cells, in plant cells, and in microorganisms. So this includes transferring of DNA from one organism into another organism. It is not a single step reaction. Only transfer is not beneficial. But along with transfer, whatever the foreign DNA that we transfer in new cell, that has to be expressed. That means that must show its characteristics. Then and then only that particular recombination process is successful. So along with transfer of DNA from one organism to another organism, gene expression is equally very important. If there is only transfer of DNA and no gene expression, then the system is a failure. So using this technique, as I said, a gene from vertebrate animal including humans can be inserted into the bacterium, or a gene from virus into a yeast, or a gene from bacterium, it can be transferred into a plant cell. The examples are plants are uh, uh, the gene from Bacillus thuringiensis, which is a pesticide organism. So this gene is inserted into plant cell, and when this plant grows, so that becomes a resistant variety for the insects. So this is how genetic modification is possible with the help of recombinant DNA technology. Now we'll see an example of that. Steps in genetic engineering. So the what is the first step? First step is you need to have a specific DNA sequence. That means this is the DNA sequence that you want to transfer into another cell. Okay, so this will be called as donor DNA, or the gene of interest which you want to transfer into another organism. So the first step is that gene is separated from one organism, and then this gene is inserted into a carrier. Carrier means, as the name indicates, it is a vector or it is a vehicle. So it is a molecule that carries this foreign DNA. Okay, it is the molecule that carries this foreign DNA. So what is this molecule? This molecule is a plasmid. Plasmid is a low molecular weight, covalently closed, circular, double stranded DNA molecule, as it is shown. You can see the scissors here. So for the insertion, as this plasmid is covalently closed circular DNA, so it doesn't have free ends. If you want to insert this donor DNA into this plasmid must be cut. And for the cutting of this plasmid DNA, there are enzymes. These enzymes are called as nucleases. Nuclease, DNA nuclease. The function of DNA nuclease is to digest the DNA. That means this enzyme, which is called as restriction enzyme. This restriction enzyme is responsible for cutting of this plasmid at a particular site. Therefore, these restriction enzymes are called as molecular scissors. These are the scissors or enzymes which are responsible for the cutting of molecules. That is why they are called as molecular scissors. So that is the second step. You have plasmid DNA which is cut. Why it is cut? Because it is covalently closed, and this is how there can be creation of a position where this foreign DNA it can be inserted. Now the third step, after insertion, the third step is introduction of such vector into a suitable host. Now this is whatever the combination of DNA that you get. What is that combination? It is plasmid DNA, the vector, and the foreign DNA which is inserted. So that's why this DNA will be called as recombinant DNA. Now the combination is generated. Now this recombinant DNA is ready to be transferred into a host cell. Host cell means the cell in which this DNA will be transferred and it will be expressed. So the next step is introduction of this recombinant DNA into a host cell. In this case, I have shown a cell of bacterium. So you can see bacterial cell will have its own chromosomal DNA, and then when this foreign DNA along with plasmid is transferred, the picture will be like this. In cell, you have chromosomal DNA plus plasmid DNA containing the foreign DNA. I'll call it as recombinant DNA. So the next step will be multiplication and expression of vector DNA into the host. You see that plasmid DNA have ability of self replication. That means it can replicate on its own. Plasmid can replicate on its own. So whenever this plasmid replicates, along with plasmid, the foreign DNA it also replicates, so that in a single cell there will be multiple copies of recombinant DNA. So that is the meaning of multiplication of DNA. So after multiplication, the next step is expression of vector DNA into the host. Expression means what? Expression means there is a gene, that gene codes for a particular protein. So when that gene is converted into mRNA, it is called as transcription. This mRNA is converted into a chain of amino acids. It is called as translation. Transcription and translation are the two steps in gene expression. So what is the result of gene expression? It is formation of a protein that can perform its specific function. So the next step is recovery of desirable proteins. So these, you can see in the picture, there are bacterial cells many bacterial cells, and these bacterial cells, you can see there is presence of a chromosomal DNA and there is presence of plasmid DNA. Now there is a mistake in this picture, that single cell of this bacterium, it should have multiple copies of plasmid DNA. Remember, it should have multiple copies of plasmid DNA. So this recombinant DNA undergoes transcription and translation, and as a result of that, it leads to production of desirable metabolite. Now you just consider an example of a bacterium producing insulin. Insulin is a hormone, animal hormone. So it is to be produced by animal cells. But using this genetic engineering technology, we can modify bacterial cell so that that bacterial cell will start production of insulin. So consider that example. So see the first step, that is isolation of specific gene. So in this case, what will be that gene? It will be a insulin gene. Insulin gene will be isolated from animal cell or human cell. Okay, so that will be the first step. Now you have insulin gene, and then that gene will be isolated and it will be inserted into plasmid. Second step. After that, you will have a combination of recombinant DNA. Third step. Then this recombinant DNA containing insulin gene, it will be transferred into a host cell. In this case, the host cell is E. coli, Escherichia coli. It is the name of a bacterium. So after that, these plasmid will replicate multiple times, and then it will be expressed, and as a result of expression of this insulin gene, what will be the product? The product will be insulin. Now in the fifth step, you will have E. coli with recombinant DNA containing insulin gene, and this E. coli is now a producer of insulin hormone. Insulin is a protein. So this is how this E. coli, it becomes a gem. Gem means genetically engineered microorganism. This is how genetic engineering technology is very useful for the production of desirable metabolites, the metabolites of human significance, for example, insulin hormone. Likewise, there are many, for example, so applications of the genetic engineering technology or biotechnological applications. First one is gems are responsible for the synthesis of pharmaceuticals like insulin. There are number of pharmaceuticals that may be produced, for example insulin, or for example human growth hormone is another product that is effectively produced by genetically engineered microorganisms. So the concept is that animal products are produced by microorganisms by carrying out fermentations in, as we learn in industrial microbiology. So there are various examples like interferons, tissue plasminogen activator, streptokinase, erythropoietin, having different very vital applications. So all these are animal proteins, and these animal proteins are now produced by GEMS, genetically engineered microorganisms, by fermentation technology. Second application is production of vaccines. Second important application in biotechnology is production of vaccines. Vaccines are the antigen containing preparations, and these vaccines are responsible for active immunization. So new vaccines can be produced using genetic engineering technology. For example, vaccine against type B hepatitis in human, or foot and mouth disease in cattle. Now, what is this vaccine for type B hepatitis? It is a type of protein. So, a gene responsible for synthesis of that protein is isolated from hepatitis B virus. If you go back to the previous diagram, so gene is isolated from that virus, and then that gene is transferred into plasmid. That plasmid is then, it will go into E. coli cell, for example, and that E. coli cell will start, after the expression of that gene, it will start production of the viral protein, and that viral protein is nothing but antigen, and that antigen containing preparation is called as vaccine, and that vaccine will be given for the prevention of hepatitis B infection. Another type of vaccines are useful for passive immunization. Vaccines containing antibodies are basically the methods for, basically the agents for the passive immunization. In current corona situation, if you remember that there is a therapy which is called as plasma therapy. So plasma therapy is just related to this passive immunization. You can read more on plasma donation in order to understand the passive immunization. So passive immunization involves antitoxins, means antibodies against tetanus disease, botulinum toxin, and rabies disease. So all these products are produced by industrial fermentation processes. For example, animal cells are used to make monoclonal antibodies. Then another applications are uh, agriculture agricultural applications. So in agricultural applications, using genetic engineering, insertion of recombinant DNA into plant cell. So as I mentioned, you have heard about BT cotton. BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis cotton. So this is a variety of plant which is resistant to insect pest. So what is done in this? Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacterium responsible for production of a toxin protein. That means Bacillus thuringiensis has a gene responsible for production of this toxin protein. So what is the strategy? If you go back to the first figure, isolate that gene from Bacillus thuringiensis, transfer it into plasmid. Plasmid will go into the host cell. In this case, the host cell is a cotton cell, cotton plant cell. So that when this cotton plant cell grows into a plant, that plant cell will start production of toxin as a result of gene expression. So for this, and in order to understand this, you need to go back to the previous diagram. So this is how the resistant varieties of plants can be generated using genetic engineering technology. So likewise, there are several examples. Rhizobacterium is a type of nitrogen fixer whose capacity can be improved with the help of genetic engineering technology. E. coli will be modified for the production of growth hormones which are essential in the animals. Then another application is environmental management and biotechnology. There are microorganisms which are responsible for the degradation of natural materials like leaves, animal residues, etc. etc. Okay. So likewise, microorganisms are also responsible for degradation of non-natural synthetic chemicals. So non-natural synthetic chemicals are responsible for soil pollution and water pollution like plastics and pesticides or several chemicals from different chemical industries. So they are responsible for pollution. So what is the strategy? The strategy is that microorganisms are added to these contaminated sites so that microorganisms will degrade all these plastic materials, pesticides and different chemicals, and they can make it free from the pollutants. This process is called as bioremediation. Detoxification of pollutants is called as bioremediation. Another very interesting example is, if you remember, in the first lecture I've explained you about the oil spills, recent oil spill in Mauritius, in the area of Mauritius Sea. So the same example is here. Bacteria are responsible for the degradation of oil. Oil in this case is a pollutant of seawater. Bioleaching of metals. Leaching means extraction of metals from the ores. So there are two approaches, chemical approach and biological approach. So microorganisms are used in mining process. For example, Thiobacillus ferroxidans, Thiobacillus thioxidans, which are helpful in the extraction of metals from the ores. The process is called as leaching. Then in petroleum industry also microorganisms are very useful. They are associated with formation, recovery and decomposition and its utilization. Microorganisms are useful in the production of several polymers. These polymers are useful in pharmaceutical industries or in several industries like food industry. They are used as thickeners in ice cream, production of xanthan gum. So xanthan gum is produced by Xanthomonas compestris, and dextran is produced from Leuconostoc mesenteroids. All these are bacteria, and these are useful as stabilizers and emulsifiers in foods. Another biotechnology area is biosensor. These are the living organisms or enzymes or organelles which are linked to electrodes, and these are very beneficial for the detection of chemical pollutants or detection of several uh, pathogens, organic acids, alcohol or oxygen.